Hello, I am Brother Kelly Hughes, chaplain of the arts, broadcasting not live to tape from the Valiant Theatre as I usually am, but I am broadcasting from the heart of Wolseley, Winnipeg's own Hobbiton, the Shire. This is Kelly Hughes Live, Slices, one guest, 1 hour, every Saturday, 1 p.m. on UMFM, and forever and ever on the internet, on YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you to my guest for stopping by. My guest is Debbie Patterson, who is a actor, writer, director, producer, activist. Anything else you'd like to add to your...
I'm a mom.
A mom.
That is very important to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So that's all you want to add to your
Sure.
imaginary Wikipedia page?
Sure, yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for
Really good.
thanks for doing this. You have been in theater for a long time. When did you do your first Shakespeare in the Ruins?
Oh, that was in 94.
What was it?
We did...
Twelfth Night or
No,
something?
Romeo and Juliet. And we were just going to do the one show.
Yeah.
Like, we just wanted to do Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
We looked at the venue. We were, Laura Schroeder
Yeah.
and Arn McPherson, my partner, and
Yeah.
I were looking at the ruins going, wouldn't it be cool to do it? Because there's it looks like a balcony, right? Where the railing is, and then as the play progresses, it gets darker, and the play gets darker.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like a comedy at the beginning, and then it's definitely not. It's a tragedy. You know, we had the whole thing planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just going to do the one show.
Yeah, I don't remember. And then, of course, there were a million more.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I was at that first year, but I know that I was there. I know I was there early on with all the people that sort of came through. Rob Slade.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle
Boulay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just sort of everybody.
Yeah.
Sort of a who's who of everybody, but everybody was young.
Yes, we were young. Yes.
As that happens, right?
Time marches on.
As it goes. Time comes for all of us.
Yes.
And what had you done? What had you been doing in theater before that?
Well, I had just moved to Winnipeg. I moved here in 92, I think.
From where?
Well, it was a kind of a progression. Like, I lived in Thunder Bay.
Okay.
But I went away to school in Montreal.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Toronto for a few years.
Yeah.
But then I ended up here.
Yeah.
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 So was that kind of the first sort of big thing that you did here, theater-wise?
Probably, yeah. Like, I did a Munch tour.
Yeah.
Of course, with PTV.
Yeah, of course.
I did that. I think I did something else, a couple of Fringe shows.
Yeah.
The Fringe was the first thing I did in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was moving here.
Yeah.
And I was here for the Folk Fest.
Yeah.
And then was hanging around for a bit because my partner Arn had come to town to do the Fringe.
Yeah.
So I was hanging around for the Fringe to hang out with him. And some friends of mine were doing the Sleeping Beauty Cabaret. Do you remember those?
I don't know.
Yeah, a bunch of women got together and did cabarets at the Fringe. And I had just met Shauna Dempsey and Laurie Milan because they were living with my friend Stephen, who I went to theater school with. So they invited me to perform at the cabaret.
Yeah.
And that was like my first Winnipeg show.
You're still in it.
Yeah.
You're still at it. Do you ever kind of like, I don't know, I'm 50, I just turned 56 a couple months ago, and as I don't know, it just kind of, sometimes I feel old. Just some days I feel old, and then I feel like, and I think about people like, that are not around anymore.
Right.
You know, of course, there's lots of wonderful people, Steve McIntyres of the world, and then people who just like, you're just like, what, you don't know what happened to, people.
Right.
That guy was so much fun, or, what.
Right, yeah.
There's kind of nothing like, those kind of connections you make when you're young, and how everything is kind of new and exciting, and you're not old and jaded and and bitter and all that stuff yet. What do you think about the state of the local theater scene?
Wow. Yeah, it's changed a lot since I've been here.
You can talk for an hour, because that's probably take you an hour.
Gosh, it's really, really interesting question. I mean, so much has changed since I moved here in '92. Since the '90s.
That's like almost 35 years ago.
I know, it's so long.
Doesn't that seem like there must be some kind of mistake?
I know.
Some kind of clerical error?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not, yeah. That was not just 35 years just now. No. When I moved here, I actually, Maggie Nagel, I met her before I moved here, and she said, you should move here. We need more actors in Winnipeg. Which was like, not a sentiment you would hear in most places, because most actors are like, no, less actors, more work for me, right? And it just felt like a really welcoming, warm community, and it really was when I moved here. Like we would do these Christmas parties that like the theater community would do together, where we would travel from house to house. There were these traveling Christmas parties, and we don't do those anymore. I don't know. Maybe we got old.
Yeah.
Maybe, and don't have enough energy to make those things happen.
Well, and I guess eventually people want to make some money.
Yeah.
And, certain things sort of become more commercial. When I was married, we used to go to MTC, our MTC.
Yes.
And I remember the year that we stopped going. It was when the first show of the season was Grumpy Old Men, the musical, and right around then I had Stephen Shipper on my live show, Kelly Hughes Live, and I kind of asked him about that, and he said something that just always stuck with me. He said, how unpopular does it have to be before it's art?
Whoa. Whoa.
Well,
I guess Grumpy Old Men, the musical, then is art by that definition.
Kind of, yeah. But I think, they were very, it was just, it was all about putting bums in seats.
Yeah.
And, and I think that they're probably trying to do some different things now, but I think it's a bit hard after you've trained your audience a certain way for so long. I mean, even I remember when MTC, I was going to MTC when it was even just still straight plays all the time, and then they were like, you know what? People love musicals, and I remember I don't know what, The Boyfriend, or just stuff that's like real old chestnuts, but it's Winnipeg, right? And people love it, and so they started doing that. I have no idea what shows even they had on this year. Did they have a musical this year?
I can't
Probably.
remember. I'm sure there was. I can't remember. I'm sure there was.
So, and then you end up and they've got a nice big theater, and you end up servicing the theater.
Yeah. It's hard for big, venued companies, because they have to, fill those seats. I totally empathize with that. There's a lot, it's really risk averse, and art to be really great has to take risks. So it's hard to balance those two things, the needs of a big venue and the need to make art. It's really hard. Something you said, back in the day, housing here was really cheap, right?
Yeah.
And so it was easy to live here.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I moved to Winnipeg, was because actors were buying houses.
Yeah.
And that's why we could do Shakespeare in the Ruins. The first year we made $50 a week.
Yeah.
And you could live, it wasn't a huge sacrifice, but now you can't do that, right?
I don't understand. My sister-in-law is looking for a house, and it's and she wants to be in certain areas or whatever, but she's not loaded, but it's they're $500,000, and she's like, oh yeah, this one's probably going to be bid up to, $600,000, and I'm just I don't understand who. I don't understand how the math, who can afford that?
I don't know.
Who is, I remember when I bought I was going to say first house, but I've only ever owned one. It was in West Broadway, and we paid $93,000, and it was 8 bedrooms,
wow,
20 2,800 square feet or something. It was
Right.
huge.
Right.
And but we were looking in Wolseley, and I remember there was a house on Home Street by Palmerston, and it was for sale for like $120,000. And I'm like, they're crazy. They're never gonna get
I
that.
know, eh?
So
Yeah.
I don't understand how like everything is like 4 times as much as it used to be. But I mean,
Yeah.
are people making 4 times as much as they used to be? I don't.
No.
I just don't understand that. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
But it is sort of it is kind of disheartening, because then you can't just kind of
It affects our ability to make art.
the people that I know, the people that I know who kind of live that kind of bohemian life where they sort of do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that. Most of them like already bought their houses, and their houses are paid for, and they own them, and so their expenses are different, and they're not carrying a bunch of debt.
Yeah.
But
But they're old now,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And we need the young people
Yeah.
innovating and doing new things.
Yeah.
And they can't do it because their housing is so expensive.
they'll have to do it from their parents' basement.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I know, it's bullshit.
You have been doing something for the last number of years, Sick and Twisted Theater. How long has that been?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And it is edgy and artistic and small, and nobody's trying to make any money.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Oh, that's a long story. So
We got the time.
we got
We
the
got the
time.
time.
So yeah, I'd been doing theater for a long time, and I developed MS and couldn't walk the way I used to walk. Like I walked with a limp, and thought I had to give up acting because I didn't know any performers with disabilities. Like I didn't think it was a thing you could do. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll learn to direct, I'll learn to write, I'll get better at these things that I can do while I'm sitting down. Because MS is progressive, right? And I didn't know where this journey would lead me. And then I really missed performing, and I kind of wanted to keep doing it. And I met, through Sarah Garton Stanley, I met a bunch of other disabled theater artists. She organized this national gathering of disabled theater artists. And I missed performing, and I was like, why not? Why can't I? Like, I still have all these skills. I should still be on stage, you know, and I knew that the way I moved was compelling. Like, people wanted to, you stare at people who move funny, right? People want to watch that. So I started, I was like, well, why can't we do this? And because I had training and a career before I became disabled, I realized I had, this privilege of like having all these connections and having all this skills. So I thought I should try to build a company where other people with disabilities could train, could develop, could get some experience and start exploring, what that is. And as I started doing it, I realized that our storytelling in theater never tells stories about disability from the perspective of lived experience. And because of that, there's no embracing that messiness of being human, that like the value of failure, the value of weakness, the value of needing help. Like we all talk about wanting to live in community and wanting to, have like a warm, welcoming community that supports each other. But if nobody's willing to ask for help, nobody can offer help, right? We all want to help, but everyone's afraid of asking for help. And as soon as you're disabled, you have to get help. You have to get over it. And suddenly you realize that you are the glue that holds the world together, right? People asking for help are the ones that make community possible. And so that whole sort of thing that we do in storytelling where we think it's shameful to need help, that it's shameful to be weak, that it's shameful to not be beautiful and perfect and completely able-bodied all the time is bullshit. And the more we tell that story, the more we reinforce that ideal in our society, and the more we keep all of us sort of afraid of our own weaknesses, trying to hide what's wrong with us, and never asking for help and never actually being authentic with each other,
Well, I think that my partner and I are both neurodivergent and live with mental illness, And after I had kind of my first big sort of nervous breakdown, I realized like that I was lying all the time and hiding all the time. But like with the lying, I'm like, who am I doing it for?
Yeah.
You know? And so I sort of decided then, you know, I don't know, 13 years ago or something, that I just sort of wanted to be radically honest, because I felt like, I just felt like I didn't want to go through my life lying, and I didn't want to go through my life hiding myself. And I had people, you know, friends that were like, you shouldn't be so open and talk about all this stuff. Somebody's going to use that against you to, and I'm like, well, those people can fuck off. Like, I mean, you know, like, and since I've been able to do that, I found so many interesting, authentic, genuine people, and you know, lots of the other people have kind of dropped off. But you know, it's way more interesting. Like sometimes I interview people and they're kind of, you know, they're kind of closed. Like usually I pick people that I think are going to be pretty open.
Right.
But I do fringe interviews every year.
Okay.
So sometimes, you know, people just want to talk about their show, whatever, and they're kind of like this. And it's just so much more interesting to me to talk to a person who is a human being and who will tell you about it, you know, whatever you want to know.
Yeah.
Because I notice when, so I've done now, just on this particular series, I've done maybe, I don't know what it is, like 20 interviews or something, and the white men I've interviewed is like really small. It's like 25% or something.
Okay.
And I was thinking about that, and it's not really exactly on purpose, but it's just that I'm way more interested in talking to people who have a different life experience than me, because it's the same reason why I can't, most stand-up comedy I don't want to hear, because there's so many 30-year-old white guys, and I'm just like I don't like. Are you the last guy? Are you which guy are you? You know,
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
They all look the same.
Great, you know, your girlfriend and the cat, and you know, and it's just so interesting, you know, to hear. I mean, just things you'd never think about. Like you just said, still rattling around in my head. You said that the people that ask for help are the glue that hold community together, which is I've never really thought about it like that. Yeah.
Like everybody wants to help. Everyone's afraid of
Well, not
asking
everybody wants to help.
Not everybody, but you know, most people, like the people you want to hang out with,
the good, the worthwhile people.
I want to help.
I told somebody,
you know, I want to be useful to others. I know you do too.
I told somebody the other day, a friend of mine, I told her that I thought she was a worthwhile person, and she said, "That's like one of the greatest things anybody's ever said to me." I'm like, well, you know, it's true, and I don't. You know, I'm done with, even when I have to be around people that are, you know, not my favorite people, or people that are kind of problematic or whatever.
Right.
I mean, like an hour of that just kills me, you know. Now, a lot of the people that you've worked with have a wide range in the last 10 years, wide range of disabilities.
Yeah.
I presume some of them have developed their disabilities. Some of them are born with their disability.
Yeah. Some achieve. Yeah.
Some achieve disability. That's amazing. Well, you've achieved disability. Is there a different experience for people depending on your?
I think so. Like I think being a disabled kid is probably really hard.
Yeah.
You know, and not having that experience, I feel like I've had some privilege.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I guess when you're disabled and you're born disabled and you want to do things, you have to work really hard.
Yeah.
And you have to really want it. And you have to be aggressive and bossy sometimes and annoying. And you know what I mean? I'm thinking of a couple of people that I know that just have had to, have had to be loud and have had to, because even like, not to pick on the West End Cultural Center, but the West End Cultural Center is accessible to get into the building,
Right.
but the stage isn't.
Right.
So, you know, you're going to have to get lifted up on the stage or whatever. Like, there's
Right.
no, because it's like just stuff like that.
We
like,
install a ramp when we do shows there that goes right up the middle.
So,
yeah.
you know, I mean, and that's unfortunate that we sometimes we do the bare minimum.
Right.
You know, they needed to do that to renovate the building. But again, not to pick on them, but it's just like nobody thought, oh, well, what about when we have performers?
Yeah.
How are they going to get up there?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit. Do you think that able-bodied people think about that a little bit more than they used to? Or
Maybe. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people are more aware of when, you know, when their architecture is microaggressing us. Yeah. Yeah.
and you'll make noise if there's a problem, or
Yeah, I usually do.
or even
Yeah.
I noticed you posted something the other day about I'm blanking. Somebody, there's a show, and somebody was there's a person using a
Yeah.
wheelchair in the show, and they're an able-bodied.
Yeah,
Who-
they cast. Oh, it's at RMTC.
Yeah.
They're doing a show that FDR is
Okay.
one of the characters.
And that's in the fall.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Okay.
it's in January.
Okay.
But they cast a non-disabled actor
Yeah.
in the role.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think they should work harder to find,
Yeah.
you know, the person with the lived experience.
Well, and also like there's a lot of roles that a person who uses a wheelchair can't do.
Right?
So there's one that they could.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's a lot
you
that they
know.
could do that they don't even consider, you know,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
yeah.
You know the Farrelly brothers who did something about Mary, and they do
Oh,
all these
yeah.
kind of gross out things. Some of their movies are sort of, you know, borderline offensive and whatever, but they actually, one of the things they do is they always have disabled actors.
Oh, yeah?
Just in all throughout the movie for no particular reason, you know?
Right.
There's just, and I always found that like great because they don't make a thing about it.
Right.
There's just, you know, they go to the gas station, and there's a guy who I guess he moved. He got around by sort of walking on his hands.
Oh,
kind of.
cool. Yeah.
And he's like hitting on the guy's girlfriend. You know what I
Right,
mean? Just
yeah.
stuff like that. Just like normal people doing
Right.
normal things.
Yeah.
Which is so great because you don't want to be. You don't want to be talked down to. You don't want to check a box. You don't
Yeah.
want to. You know, all that stuff is gross. I mean, you shouldn't. You know, we should be telling those stories because the stories are interesting and should be told.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like the recent season of The Pit. There was a character who was a wheelchair user.
Okay.
And there was a character who was deaf.
Yeah.
And there was a trans actor in the show as well.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
And not like a thing.
Yeah, they were
It was
just
not a
there.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What has most surprised you in the last 10 years with working with disabled actors?
Oh. What surprised me?
Because you must have worked with people who, I mean, everybody has a different disability. So,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
You know what's really cool? When you get a bunch of actors together and you have some disabled and some not,
Yeah.
and we're all like working together,
Yeah.
then you know you talk about access needs, right? And
Yeah.
and at the beginning of every you know process, everyone discloses their access needs,
Yeah.
so we're all aware, so we can
Yeah.
all support each other.
Yeah.
And then the people who are able-bodied still have access needs, like they have kids, you know,
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
like my kid is sick and I might have to leave, right? Like that's an access need.
interesting,
That
yeah.
in a normal rehearsal process, you're not allowed to go there, right? Like
Yeah.
you just, if you have any problems that are
Yeah.
outside the room, you leave them outside. But when we're all there together, like we make space for everybody's access needs. And then the whole room, like everybody in the room, suddenly becomes responsible for everybody else's access.
Yeah.
And it creates more of an ensemble.
Yeah.
Like it becomes a family in a way.
And you know, it's not binary. So it's not like these. I mean, because you said able-bodied like this,
Right.
but it's like it's a spectrum. It's
It is.
you know, so it's not like
Yeah.
these people are fine, these people are not fine.
Yeah.
It's like even like talking about mental illness, you know, or neurodivergence or whatever. I mean, I'm not even sure who the normies are because I'm sure I don't know any of them anymore. But but it is yeah, because I mean you know, and my partner Andy and I talk about this sometimes about like you know, do you like being like mentally ill and like, you know, do you consider yourself disabled and because I mean, you know, sometimes like it's impossible to do, you know, to do the things you want to do.
Right.
Which is kind of the sort of the definition of it.
Yeah.
So have you worked with you've probably worked with deaf actors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love working with deaf actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody in the room starts learning ASL.
Yeah.
It's really great. Yeah.
It was always so interesting to me that they have this theater at the Deaf Center.
Right.
And none of those shows were ever for the people that live there.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, deaf culture is so interesting to me because I was just thinking like they have their own language. It's not just like, it's not just English with hand signs. No. It's its own thing.
Yeah, its own thing, its own syntax, its own, it's its own culture. Yep. That's why, like, you always capitalize deaf. When you're talking about deaf people, you capitalize it because it's a culture.
Yeah.
It's a cultural identity.
Yeah. Do you know any ASL?
Not a lot, no. I know cool.
I have a...
Awesome. I only have one hand that works, so I haven't made an effort because I'm like, well, I can't actually do it. Yeah.
I have a friend who's deaf. I'm an acquaintance, and every once in a while I go and, you know, drop something off, or she needs something or whatever. And I always, I always just look before I go. I always look something up, and I have a little, you know, few little things that I can say, and she always appreciates my YouTube. I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy to find stuff now. I mean, how do you feel about the internet? Obviously has lots of problems, but how do you feel about it as a tool for accessibility?
Well, yeah, it's great. I mean, during COVID, we all found out what it's like to not be able to leave home, right?
Yeah.
And there are lots of people with disabilities who can't leave home, and for them, that connection is a lifeline, right?
Do you feel like, you know, because again, I'm you know, I live with mental illness, and I mean, I've had like periods in my life like where it's been very, you know, I had times when I only left the house to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I remember during COVID, I remember like early on when there was kind of the lockdown and like we couldn't go anywhere. And I remember thinking,
fucking great.
Well, I remember thinking, not in a vindictive way, but I remember thinking, oh, well now everybody knows how I feel.
Yeah.
And people didn't like it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so like you can't go out anywhere and do anything and it's not your fault. That's the feeling.
Yeah.
And people feel very, you know, they felt very helpless and they felt despondent and all that stuff. And it kind of, and then also it made me feel like I didn't feel like I was missing anything.
Yeah.
Because often like, you know, there's all this stuff going on and
you can't go
you're
out
not
and
well and you can't do it. And,
FOMO,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we did during COVID, we did a series on YouTube called Crip Tips TV, and we interviewed people who never leave home in order to help people who are locked down for the first time figure out how to deal with it. So it was like, we know how to do this. Like we know how to be under lockdown. We're really good at it. So check us out and we'll help you get there.
Yeah.
You know, people who have never faced challenges have no resilience. You know, like without any. Like if you're too privileged, you don't know how to deal with stuff.
Yeah, just like I said, phone turned off. There we go.
There we go.
It was just giving me a warning.
Okay.
So with Sick and Twisted, how many shows do you do a year?
Between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
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 And it just sort of runs the regular kind of season.
Yeah, we do holiday shows for families. We've done that 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I really like that tradition, and it's growing.
Yeah.
They're musicals. They're kind of subversive political messages, but also like trans characters and lots of laughs and dirty jokes for the grown-ups and lots of bright colors for the kids.
Just like The Simpsons.
Yeah. I love doing that. And then we develop other shows on our own. So we developed this show with trans and blind artists working together, based on the myth of Tiresias, who was this character from Greek mythology who was blind but also lived for 7 years as a woman. So had both those identities. Right now we're developing a show with an all-Indigenous cast. It's called the Ever Sick Collective.
That's great.
So
you don't. It's not necessarily just disabled people. Like it's a mix of
it's
folks.
A mix. Yeah. Sometimes we collaborate or co-produce with another company, like AA Battery. We co-produced Three Penny Opera with them, and then a musical version of Antigone.
The one that you just mentioned about the
blind and trans.
The character. So did you hear the recent thing about Christopher Nolan's new movie?
No.
So Christopher Nolan's new movie is The Odyssey.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there was a trailer, and I haven't seen the trailer, and I don't know, but in the trailer it looked like Elliot Page was in the movie.
Oh, wow.
And then people on the, we call it, I've heard it called the woke right.
Right.
People on the woke right freaked out. Well, this is wrong. This isn't history. Why do you have this trans person? But then somebody said, and again, I don't know that Elliot Page is in this movie, but somebody pointed out, oh, well, maybe he's playing this character who, lived as a
woman, then lived as a man.
Got
married, had a baby, then went back to being a man.
I mean, so many. So many great, some of those, I mean, the Greek stories are just, some of them are just weird, man.
And there are a lot of intersex characters in Greek stories.
Well, I don't think really, I don't know that I don't know that in the past, I think that we think that, that heteronormativity, not we, but I think that there's a lot of people that think that heteronormativity is the way that it's been forever, and that's the thing. And I feel like it was constructed at some point, and I feel like there was a lot of sort of flexibility before that. And I'm encouraged. I mean, there still is. I'm discouraged that I do see a lot of conservative young people, and part of that is parents, and part of that is like, I think that the kids that had to go through high school during COVID, I think that some of those kids fell down the wrong rabbit holes on the internet and the the manosphere and all that stuff, and so I think that's not great. But I do feel like a lot of younger people have a different idea about sexuality than like, I mean, when you and me, when we were growing up, I mean, calling somebody gay was an insult. And now I've just noticed, with a lot of younger people, it's just kind of more flexible. It's more, and I mean,
it's normal.
And why not?
I mean, it always was normal. We just didn't know it. We weren't allowed to express it.
I mean, I remember when I grew up in a very religious Christian home.
Yeah, me too.
And I remember the first time we had this guy that went to the church who was in the closet and was also, I guess he seemed like he was in the closet to himself too. Like he was really trying to not be gay.
Right.
But I remember, and it was back when like the big kind of thing was, nature versus nurture. And the big thing was, it's a choice. This is a choice. You're not born like this. It's a choice. And this is sinful and all this stuff. But I remember like, this guy was a little bit older than me, but he kind of needed a friend. So I sort of hung out with him a little bit. And I remember thinking, there's no timeline where this guy is not gay.
Right.
This guy came out of the egg gay. He's just gay. This is very obvious to me. I don't know anything about gay, but I know that this guy is it. And I still hadn't worked out that, I still thought, still hadn't worked out that it wasn't a sin and all that stuff
Right.
because I was, didn't get there all at once. But I do remember thinking, like, you can't tell me that this guy's choosing this because he's trying to not choose this. And for sure, God created him this way. So that was a bit, was a bit confusing for me. But I'm glad that I feel like younger people don't have so far to go to kind of figure those things out.
Yeah.
But it is sort of disconcerting that there's a lot of kind of the backlash against virtue signaling is vice signaling.
Right.
There's a lot of people who just feel free to say very bad things and think it's
right, and think
fine.
it's absolutely
and,
fine.
I mean, people always talk about what's going on in the States, but I mean, it's right here.
It's right here.
We have there's a guy who's running for mayor, who's
here.
Yeah, his name is Mike something. He runs a funeral home, and he was one of those guys that was a lunatic during COVID.
Oh yeah.
And he's just kind of it just I found all my people, and I kind of have my little bubble of the people that are like good people. But every once in a while, it kind of seeps in all the kind of gross things.
The dysfunction of the world
going on out there.
Yeah.
Who do you think in theater and in the arts in general? Who do you see that's interesting in Winnipeg? Who do you think is doing like some really good things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be biased, but my kid. Yeah. My kid and his girlfriend have a company called We Quit Theater. Okay. And they're just doing the most interesting work. I'm sorry. Yeah. They are. It's the most interesting work.
And you never, did you like encourage them to do theater or discourage them, or were you neutral?
Well, kind of encouraged, like, okay, I did this thing where I did a fringe tour when my kids were little, right? This one summer I did like Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Edmonton with a solo show. Yeah. And I just needed, like, I was deep in the mommy thing, and I just needed a couple of months on my own, like I wanted to make my art and have a good time and go to fringes. So I did that. I took off and I got back and the kids were going back to school and I was like, fuck, summer vacation, I missed the whole thing, right? And I kind of had this regret of missing my kids through summer holidays. And so then I said, next time I do a fringe show, I'll write a family show and we'll all do it. And the kids were like, great, let's do it. So we did. So I wrote this show called Candy from a Baby. Yeah. And my kids played kids. Like my youngest was, I think he was 5 when we did it the first time. And my older son was still prior to his transition, right? So he was like just in the early stages of teenhood. So he and did this show where they were on the lam from their foster home and had gone back to their mom's apartment at the same time that their dad got out of jail and came home to the apartment. Their mom was gone. He didn't recognize the kids because he had been in jail for so long. And it's this whole like family reunion story and kind of a con where they're conning each other. Yeah.
So it is your fault.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I wrote another one where we were a circus family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's so much fun. So my mom is 96 and she's
your mom's amazing.
Pretty out of it. And like she's my family and my childhood was problematic in a lot of ways, and but I was thinking the other day, like the thing that I did get from my mom was my love of the arts, but specifically theater.
Right.
So when my mom was when she was pregnant with me, so late 1969, she was doing Hello Dolly at the Hall of Mug.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, how could I not? Right? And then I think I got put on stage when I was 5. They were doing either they were doing maybe Little Abner
Okay.
And then a couple of years later, I got a little part in King and I, which was very problematic because everybody was in yellowface
Oh,
because
God.
it was
Yeah,
1977.
I know, eh? So shameful.
Speaking of representation and finding the appropriate
Yeah.
actors to do the appropriate parts, and I sort of there were a few times when I sort of tried to get away from it, and I mean I haven't acted in anything in a long time, but I do a lot of things kind of on the fringes of that. Because I do really, out of all the arts and out of all the kind of arts people, that I get the theater people. Like
Right,
I understand that, and I appreciate them, and I sort of appreciate the particular struggle because I went to Vancouver when I was 21 to seek my fame and fortune.
Oh, cool.
I went for a year. Ended up. I wanted to do movies and,
Right.
And I ended up taking a job with a touring company. My agent was mad at me. He said, well, if you're gone for, it was like 8 or 9 months.
Right.
If you're gone, you're not going to be able to audition for anything.
Right.
But I'd been auditioning for like 3 months and hadn't got a thing, right? So ended up on this tour, and so it's 1991, 92, so everybody's doing anti-drug stuff.
Right.
Because it's 91, 92.
Right.
And we were like the little engine that could. We'd see Green Thumb drive by us on the road with their brand new shiny van, and they were doing this similar kind of thing, and we were in this like old van with our set stuffed in the back, and and it was like, and we were making $1,000 a month.
Right.
Which is so funny to think about now. And it was like hard sometimes, and there's you drive each other crazy, and but it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like it. I don't know that. I think as you get older, it would be. I think touring is probably harder. Do you miss touring? Would you like to be out and?
Oh, I enjoyed touring.
Yeah.
I did. But yeah, I'm happy to not be doing it now. Yeah. I did a tour. My first tour was at a Magnus Theatre, and we were on the road from January till June. Like we had a break for the spring break and Easter. They flew us home, but other than that, we were in this van. There were 5 of us, and the set in the back, and 3 people had to share the bench seat. Like it was too much. And 2 of the people in the company weren't talking to each other. It was rough.
Yeah, we had one. So I'm like, there were 5 of us, and I'm like, I'm 21 or something. Another girl was like 19. There was a guy that was 23. The our kind of road manager, who also had a part, was 26, and then we had somebody who was with us who was 30, and she was just like ancient. She was just like so old. Oh my God, can you believe Cindy is 30?
Yeah.
And she was the one that just by the end of it, like she wasn't talking to, like she just couldn't stand us. She was just wouldn't. And then a few of us got together. The rest of us got together a few years later because most of them were. One of them lived in Seattle, and the rest of us were in. Or I went out to Vancouver, and the rest of them were in Vancouver. And she was like, nobody could even get a hold of her. You know what I mean? She just never wanted to see anybody again. But I mean, you really do just either bond. Or you just hate each other by the end of it. But I actually found, because I'd said I'd grown up this sort of really conservative kind of Christian kind of household, and one of the guys was an atheist, but he was like the nicest guy and just like a decent human being, and I was very confused because I had been told that atheists were godless and they didn't believe in anything, they didn't care about anything, and this guy was just like a genuinely good person. And then I'd seen all these people that I'd gone to church with who were just dicks.
Right.
And so that was actually kind of like a really good kind of a development thing for me. But then I thought, at the end of it, I thought, I don't know if I want to stay here because it's so hard. It's just such a hard life to be, to try to be like a movie actor or somewhere that you're not from. It's different. You know, lots of people now, and back then there was nothing here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now there's lots of people, you know, that just work as much as they want, especially that, I guess, like the tech, you know, the grips and the all those people like
like in the movie industry.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
You know, you have to like Christmas movies.
Oh God, yeah.
But you know, you ever get called for a Christmas movie?
No, I don't do movies.
No,
never.
They
Not
don't-
lately. I used to.
They don't want you.
Yeah. I actually, I used to audition all the time, and then one time I would suck it up and not limp, right, and not bring my cane. And then one time, Jim Heber, I was leaving. He said, "Are you limping?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you injured?" I said, "No, I have MS." He said, "Oh, okay." And he didn't call me for auditions ever again.
It's
That was the end of my movie career.
Well, and it's I guess too when I realized that when you're doing movies or TV stuff or whatever, it's all about editing, and you're kind of the piece of meat, and you're you know, doing your little thing, and you're all this waiting around. I mean, there's nothing like getting up on stage and push go, and you've got an hour, and it's just you. I mean, and whoever you're performing with.
Yeah.
But you're you know, you're going to make it great or you're going to make it terrible. Nobody's going to fix it in post. You know, it's just going to go how it's going to go. And you have to kind of, you know, sometimes depending on what kind of thing you're doing, sometimes you have to read the room, and sometimes they make it easy, and sometimes they make it hard.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a good segue because I want to pitch my Fringe show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm doing a show called Happy Valley.
Yeah.
And it's kind of based on, so I did a show in the fall called The Only Good Indian.
Yeah.
And it was a one-person show, but 5 of us did it. So each person did their own version of it.
Okay.
And there were a series of lectures that we all wrote around.
Yeah.
And so each of us wrote like 80% of our own show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my 80%, and then I'm writing a bunch of other stuff to make a show. So it's called Happy Valley because it's about this town where my dad grew up. It's in Falconbridge, Ontario. It's a mining town.
Yeah.
And so Happy Valley was like the unorganized sort of suburb, I guess, of this village, Falconbridge.
Yeah.
And the smelter was right beside the valley, and all the pollution would land in the valley. And my grandma would talk about rinsing the pollution off the vegetables in the garden, and and they would buy a calf in the spring and then slaughter it in the fall, and it would eat, you know, and the grass didn't grow, like it was just mud. It was so polluted. It used to be called Spruce Valley, and all the trees died because of the mining. and now you can't even drive into it. Like I went there one time with my dad. They evacuated everybody out of there in the early 70s because it was so polluted. And I went there and he could see, you know, the foundation of his house. But like a year or two later, he tried to go there, and they put a fence up, and you can't even go into the valley because it's so polluted.
It's like Ontario's Chernobyl.
Yeah. And so, like, my dad had these brain tumors, and his brother had neurological conditions, and I have MS. So I'm like, well, what did living in that pollution do to him, and how did it affect me, and what's the relationship between our bodies? And before it was Happy Valley, it was like, it was, you know, Indigenous land. It was Spruce Valley. It was like this lush, beautiful valley, right? And so, you know, what are the people from the Robinson-Huron Treaty area? Like what was their relationship to the land? What's my relationship to the Indigenous people? You know, like how do our bodies and the land kind of reflect each other? And what do we owe each other? What do we owe the land? Yeah. So it's kind of about that.
Do you think about your body in a different way now that you've...
Yeah, I do. Like I'm way more appreciative of it now that I'm disabled. Yeah. Oddly enough.
Yeah, I just sort of, I think I didn't used to be so aware of my body. I've got really bad arthritis, and I think that you just kind of, and also when in the kind of church that I grew up in, it was like, your body is wrong, right? Your
Right.
body wants bad things.
Yeah.
So, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Exactly.
So when I go to therapy and, the therapist is like, okay, put your feet on the ground and breathe. What are you feeling in your body right now? And I'm like, I don't know.
It's bad. I don't want to go there.
I don't know. My body, I'm just here. My body. So it's Happy Valley, and it is, what's your
It'll
venue?
be at the Rachel Brown.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Rachel Brown. And is there an elevator in there?
There is. Yeah.
Because it's on the second floor, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's air conditioned, so that'll be
It
nice
is,
because
yeah.
it'll probably be hot.
Yeah.
Well, that is exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I haven't done a Fringe show in so long.
Do you still get nervous when you're walking on stage? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially a solo show because you're out there all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the dream still where you're like supposed to be up on stage and
Actor nightmare?
yeah.
Yeah.
And mine is one of two things. Mine is either I'm looking for my costume and I can't find my costume and I wander around the whole time and then I'm like, the dream's really long and I'm like, the show must be over. You know what I mean? I'm just looking for my costume. And then the other one is that I don't know the play and I don't, and I'm looking for a script. And I'm like, if I can just crib and find the script, and of course never, I don't think I ever get on stage. Do you ever get on stage? I'm just wandering around.
I think so. Mostly I'm wandering around, yeah. I had one not long ago. I did a season at Stratford in 23.
Yeah.
And I had one that I was back at Stratford.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did I say yes to this again? I promised myself I wouldn't do this again. Why am I here? Not another 8 months of this.
Do you think that, just got a few more minutes, but do you think, kind of macro here, like, I think during COVID, like everything was shut down, as we know, and it was so long, like it ended up being two years. It was supposed to be
3 weeks,
3 years, weeks or whatever. But I don't really think audiences, I think people change their habits. I think people, one thing is, the old people got even older.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people were just like, well, like there used to be like 14 things on in a night. And you'd be like, well, I got to go to one of those things. And maybe now, maybe there's like 6 things on and you go, I got my 65-inch TV and I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you think that, what is the answer to that? I think I have kind of an idea, but what do you think is the answer to?
If you keep doing plays that could be movies, then there's no reason to leave home, right? But if you do plays that can't be movies, like where you acknowledge that we're all in this room together and we're all sharing space, and if there's something about your performance that requires a living audience with you, then there's a reason to go, right?
Mm-hmm. And I do also think that we need to train new audiences. Yeah. Because I think that we relied on these old white audiences, and they just they got old, they died, they stopped going out, I just think about that because I think it's so important that we do the things for an audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not for,
I think it is.
Not for nobody, because people do want to most people don't really want to get rich, but the Adam Schwartzes of the world, he'd love to fill the house and be, you
want to do it for the people. Like if you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the people, right? Yeah. You want to give the people something they need. Give something they can't,
Give the people what they want, or give them what they need.
Give them what they need. Give them what they need. They don't know they need it, but they'll come and they'll find out this is exactly what I needed. Yeah.
But you're exactly right. If the only place where they can have this experience is out there on this night, they're just going to have to go.
They're going to have to go
if they want to have it, and if they miss it, they miss it.
They miss it. You got to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should come back in July when I have my group things and talk about, or we'll do it somewhere accessible. We'll talk about, we do our Fringe interviews and we'll talk about the show again.
I'll know what it's about more.
Your show?
Once it's written, once the whole thing is written.
There's no.
Because I'm working in bits and bits. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not worried.
Got the whole. Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, I'm
good.
good.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know. I have a plan to get there. Yeah.
So the show is Happy Valley. It is going to be at Rachel Brown during Fringe, which is
awesome.
Fringe is in 2 months already.
Yeah, I know, it's coming right up.
Already, and it's still, it was just snowing last week.
I know.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I appreciate
thanks.
that. Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with us. I've been Kelly Hughes. This has been my guest, Debbie Patterson, and we are going to. This has been Kelly Hughes Live Slices. Let's say the slogan, art will save us all. Okay, and we're going to say to you, art will save us all. Thanks so much.